In this video, I'm going to share what I've learned in the last 10 years of taking reference photos. I'm Jono, and if you're new here, I do pencil drawings. I've been drawing for over 10 years now, and for almost that entire time, I've been taking my own reference photos. Very early on in my career, I realized that I wanted full creative control over my process. So in this video, I want to share with you the 5 most important tips that I wish I knew when I started taking reference photos. My setup today is very different from what it was when I started out. At the moment, I'm busy shooting with a Canon 6D with a handful of lenses. I'm using Elinchrom BRX 500s with softboxes attached to them, a Speedlight 430EX Mark II with receivers so I can fire them off camera, infinity sheets for the backdrop, reflector, and an umbrella. This brings me to point number 1, which is you don't need a lot of equipment to start shooting reference photos. You can get away with replacing all of this with a camera in your phone and a window. Which brings us to point number 2. Everything I'm looking for in a good reference photo can be achieved with a single light source. The best light you'll find is natural sunlight, given the right conditions. The conditions you're looking for most of the time would be a cloudy or overcast day, and the reason for this is because the clouds diffuse the sunlight, giving you a soft light and softer shadows. Most of the lighting gear I have in the studio is literally just to try and mimic these conditions. The only downside with using natural light is that conditions aren't always perfect, and so sometimes you have to use some tricks to try and shape the light a little bit more in your favor. For example, if it's a sunny day and you're getting direct sunlight ruining your shot, hang a white sheet over your main window or your main source of light. This will soften your light and get you slightly closer to those soft, pleasing shadows. The look I really enjoy working with is quite a dark look, so you want to try and minimize the amount of ambient light bouncing around the room from your light source. You can do this by using cardboard to block out any other windows in the room, or if you really want to, you can paint the cardboard black and surround your subject with these panels to try and control the light a little bit better. Tip number 3 is that perspective tells a story. Of course, everything is subjective, but for me, I felt that it was essential to understand how perspective affected the composition of my work. Keep in mind that the camera is the eye of the viewer, so I like to consider how I want to feel when I look at the artwork. For example, To Be Tamed or Ruin, or even in its script, the reference images for these drawings were shot from a lower angle. The viewer is almost on the ground with the subject, and the negative space is kind of washing over you. Another example of this would be to shoot the background from a lower angle and the main subject from a higher angle. This will give the impression that the main subject is really small and the background is looming over them. When I started out, I didn't always consider the relationship between the camera and the subject, and so I missed out on a lot of opportunities to tell some more interesting stories with perspective. Tip number 4 is editing. Learning how to shoot and take good reference photos went hand in hand with learning how to edit and work with editing software. I think there's a direct relationship between buying expensive camera equipment and spending time editing. Most of the time, the equipment that you're buying is to try and save time in post. And so if you're willing to spend a little bit of time editing or even learning how to edit, you can save a lot of money that you would have spent on camera equipment. Having confidence with editing software can also just open you up a lot more with composing your works digitally. This saves you a lot of time and gives you a great idea of how the work might come out. There's a massive creative element with working digitally and knowing how to work with editing software, so it's a long road, but it's definitely worth just taking the first steps and starting that journey. And tip number 5, which I think is the most important, is having an open mind. I've said this countless times. I think that being open to allowing the process to guide you is essential in creating your best work. Often we get so attached to outcome that we lose so many opportunities in creating something far better than what we thought we could have. I also have to constantly remind myself not to take things too seriously and just play and have fun a little bit. Every time I've gotten stuck with a composition, it's because I've just been so rigid in my thinking and in the outcome that I'm looking for. And reminding myself to just step back and look at it from a distance and try and enjoy the process, try and remember to play and have some fun, completely opens up the process every single time. So tip number 5, have an open mind, let the process guide you, is crucial. Before I end this video, I just want to give a shout out to this video sponsor, Squarespace. I've been working with them for quite a couple of years now, and I can't emphasize enough how much they've helped my career out. For anyone looking to start a creative career, having an online portfolio and making it easy for clients to get in touch with you is essential. And for me, I felt that Squarespace just did that effortlessly. I never had to patch or upgrade anything. I could register a domain with them or set up an online store. And most importantly, I could design a portfolio and show my work the way that I wanted to. Also, every time I got stuck, their amazing support team helped me out instantly. So if you're looking at building a website, give Squarespace a try. And if you decide that you love them, use this offer code and get 10% off your first purchase. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I know a lot of you have been asking about how I take reference photos, and I can dive more into my equipment and the settings that I use for everything as well to get the look that I get. But for now, I hope this is enough for you to start experimenting and just take the first steps in creating your own reference photos. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I try to read them all and get back to you. As always, leave a like, it helps the channel out in a massive way, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.